back to doing football today. Start, sit. We're going to go through every game on the slate for week 2. Talk a bit about the matchups, the players, whether or not you should be playing them this week, and then as well at the end we'll answer some questions from the Discord. Before we get to it though, you know what I'm starting this week and every week this season. It's Manscaped. It's a Lawnmower 4.0 for Manscaped. Use promo code BOX. You're going to get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with Manscaped at manscaped.com. Go get the Lawnmower 4.0. Big weekend ahead. The fall's here. Football's here. Week 2 is here. So let's get into the slate, boys. If you enjoyed the video, be sure subscribe to the channel, drop a like, comment down below. We'll answer your start sit decisions. Let's get started with tonight's game.
Yes.
Washington playing host to the Giants. Look, we're back, fellas. Thursday, shitty Thursday football.
Yeah, right away. Yeah.
The game's only the true fans will watch.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll be there. Let's start with the Giants. So we saw the usage from Sterling Shepard last week. Is he someone we're probably most people would maybe be picking up off the wire? Are you going to put him into your lineup and play him this week?
He's like a desperate flex play for me.
Yeah, I'm not playing him.
I'm
playing him in my dynasty league because my dynasty team stinks, but
I would
deeper leagues.
I would honestly rather play Kenny Golladay than Sterling Shepard.
Yeah,
he had this. I don't think I'm playing either one of them. I do want to wait a bit. Kenny Golladay in a better matchup, I think I'm willing to play. He had high snap count. He's playing out wide. Daniel Jones isn't afraid to throw the ball deep. But I probably wouldn't play either this week. It's a tough matchup. I'm even willing to sit Saquon Barkley this week.
That's a guy who's like a big sit if you have the opportunity to play somebody else.
He was really like the passing work. I had a note here I wanted to make sure I mentioned. He only ran a route on 37% of Jones dropbacks. Devontae Booker was out there a lot in passing work. There's room for more opportunities for Barkley. Absolutely. They're definitely easing him in. I would wait until it actually happens to then play him. If you can.
Yeah.
If you can get away with it.
Yeah, as your first rounder though,
it's
some
tough.
leagues,
it's tough to bench him.
Like what about Devin Singletary? We'll get to him, but like
I would still play Saquon over Singletary, just because it's Saquon.
Yeah.
If you don't start him and then he goes off, it's going to feel a lot worse
than a guy that you picked in the 12th round that goes off.
But if you have options, like I would probably start Jamal Williams over him, and I wouldn't feel bad about that.
Yeah, I mean
You love Jamal Williams.
You love Jamal Williams now. This guy's in love. You're in love with the Lions backfield. Yeah. Okay, Washington football team side of things. Terry McLaurin, you're trotting out there.
Yep.
Antonio Gibson, not even on the injury report. Good to see there. He is going to play. I was very intrigued with Sammy Brown's usage. Again, this is Taylor Heineke,
he was out there a lot.
I wouldn't be playing him, but he was out there a lot. Yeah. Exactly.
Definitely still a stash, but like to see it at least.
And Logan Thomas is like, I was a little bit worried about how the season would go. Now that Taylor Heineke is going to be the starter for probably the majority of the season, I think he's a play every single week.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a low-end tight end one for me.
Yeah.
I have no issue. Do we think, talking football, not fantasy right now, are they going to bring in another quarterback?
I don't know.
They did
like
sign
Cam
somebody.
Newton, maybe?
I can't remember who
I think it was a practice squad guy that they elevated.
I would hate if they brought in Cam Newton for just Gibson and McLaurin.
Just think like a guy like Mitch Trubisky on that team, though.
It's clear that Rivera, Cam Newton is someone everyone's going to call for, but if Ron Rivera didn't do it before, when Cam Newton was a free agent beforehand, I don't think he's going to do it now. He's probably just not a good fit. He probably just doesn't see him as a good fit.
They probably would roll with Heineke at least for a bit.
Yeah, he was fine last week. He wasn't bad. Okay, let's get to Bills at Dolphins. Let's start with the Bills. I brought up Devin Singletary because his usage was there. He ran a lot of passing routes. He was on the field a ton. If Zach Moss is still inactive, it looks like they like Matt Breida more than they like Zach Moss.
So surprising to just see him inactive, healthy scratch.
Yeah,
he was very efficient, even against the Steelers defense, which is a pretty good defense too. So I'm probably not willing to start him just yet because I don't think they're going to run the ball enough for him to be a good start.
Yeah.
But like he's kind of like another deep league play.
Singletary to me, if you're desperate at running back and you need a play, like I'm fine with starting him.
Yeah.
He had the touches, he had the work, and I don't think it'll change.
I'd
he
still
was
start
efficient
some
too.
pass catching guys over him, like Hines or White, guys like that.
Yeah. I probably start Singletary over Hines, but I probably wouldn't start him over White this week in particular. Anything else? The Bills side, I wanted to mention Josh Allen led the NFL last week in pressures. He was pressured on 20 dropbacks last week. So
it's a lot.
Something to keep an eye on. If that's going to run throughout the season, he might not be that guy we've been, a lot of people are hoping for this season.
It was definitely a little worrisome seeing how that game played out for the Bills offense.
Yeah.
Like Cole Beasley, are you starting him this week?
He had a lot of targets.
I was going to say, yeah, I would play
Gabe
Cole
Davis,
Beasley.
I'm out
Full
on.
PPR, I'd probably start him.
Yeah.
Maybe not half.
Davis and Sanders, I would just leave them alone. They don't need to be played. Wide receivers from the Dolphins. We were talking about this before the show.
This is interesting.
Fuller's back. Tua was not good last week. He did have 4 deep balls he threw that he connected on one, and that was kind of the best part of his game was the deep ball. So maybe Fuller can give you a big play touchdown. But man, he was not good. The improvements a lot of people talked about, I just didn't see last week. So I would not play a Dolphins wide receiver this week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm benching all 3, waiting to see what happens with Fuller in the fold. Got to see it first.
I'm starting Will Fuller. I believe in Tua.
Fully believe you're all in.
Yeah, I'm all in on Tua.
Avery's all in on Tua.
They played a great defense.
Yeah, the Patriots have a good defense. Yeah. I know. We'll see what happens this week. The Bills are
Gaskin
similar.
looks like the number 1 guy there too.
Yeah.
There was concerns heading into the year, but he looks like he's going to be the lead back. He's going to be involved in the pass catching game a little bit. So I wouldn't mind starting Gaskin this week as a flex play.
Yeah, there was involvement of Brown and Ahmed a little bit. They both had a few touches, but Gaskin is clearly the number 1, but it's not like he's a workhorse. Bengals and Bears. I think this is a good matchup for both passing offenses here. I want to start with the Bears. Cole Kmet was out there a ton last week.
Yeah, I didn't even see Jimmy Graham.
He had 9. He ran 9 routes. Jimmy Graham.
Jeez.
Well, Jimmy Graham had 1 catch and he didn't get in the end zone. He had 1 first down catch, I think, and he went
flexed on
crazy.
people
Yeah,
hard.
that's all I remember.
And he was the clear third option. He ran 32 routes. Look, if Justin Fields takes over for Andy Dalton, Darnell Mooney is a very interesting piece. He was the leader in routes run. Look,
Really, over Allen Robinson?
yes, he's a really interesting piece, but Andy Dalton just doesn't have the ability to throw the ball more than 10 yards. We went over that on Monday, but yeah. I'm playing Allen Robinson. He had plenty of targets. There's a better pass, better.
He had Jalen
Matchup.
Ramsey too, so
Yeah.
you can only go up from there.
Don't be worried about playing Robinson. I saw a couple questions in our comments about him. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. That was a tough matchup. He'll be fine. Anything we want to touch on the Bengals?
Well, David Montgomery obviously is a must start.
Yeah.
I think Montgomery and Robinson are the only 2 on that offense. But yeah, Bengals, Higgins and Chase, both like to be very involved in the offense.
Chase seemed everything we thought he would when he got drafted.
Yeah.
Seems to have turned out and been just fine after the preseason worries.
Yeah, he's a weekly start for me. I think this could be a
Justin
Panthers.
Jefferson type season, I think.
It
Not as good.
Not
but,
that good.
But something very good for
This could
possibly
be
the top rookie wide receiver for sure.
Yeah, yes. This could be like the Panthers offense last year, but with more touchdowns to the wide receivers. So I think Higgins and Jamar Chase will kind of just trade.
Mixon, obviously,
games.
there's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All 3 of those guys must start.
Yeah,
Tyler
Jalen
Boyd is like a mediocre flex play in deeper leagues, but he's not somebody I would look to target because he just doesn't have the upside.
Yeah. Okay, Rams and Colts now let's touch on. So let's start with, I want to start with the Rams because Tyler Higbee ran the 2nd most routes in the team last week. I'm not victory lapping, but I love what we talked about in the offseason, and it's coming to fruition. He's just
it's
out
looking
there.
good for Higbee. Definitely start him this week.
I am worried about Robert Woods. He had less than 20 routes run. Something to keep an eye on. You're going to play him, but
What were his routes run comparison to Van Jefferson? Do you know?
I can check for you quickly. Why don't you guys talk a bit about?
Well, Van, look, that was a big waiver guy that you could take in some deeper leagues was Van Jefferson this week.
Yeah, that's somebody we brought up in the waiver wire video, just like as a deep stash. But if he's already running more routes than Robert Woods, is there something wrong with Woods? What's going on there? Because
It's because he changed his number. He fucking dumb.
Can't find him anymore.
Yeah.
Jefferson did run more routes than Woods. Woods ran 18. Jefferson ran 23.
okay,
Interesting. Stafford's MVP odds, 2nd favored now.
really?
Yeah, crazy.
After just a couple just botched coverages from the Bears last week. Woods did have more targets than Jefferson did, and Jefferson hit that big play that nobody was, again, coverage
Yeah, that was
breakdown.
he was just wide open.
So I am a little bit worried about. I need to see this volume in his routes run pickup.
Yeah.
It was just so weird to see
Cup
that.
seems like the guy, but again, it's just 1 week, so we could easily see it be the complete opposite next week.
Don't
I wouldn't be
overreact
surprised.
too much.
What about anything on the Colts, guys? I wanted to mention Pittman.
I'm not starting Pittman. I'm not starting
Any of them?
No, I don't like Carson Wentz this week. I started Mac Jones in a Superflex league over him. Colts are going to be the Colts again. I think it's going to be spread out everywhere. Jonathan Taylor targets, though, last week. Jonathan Taylor looks good.
Yeah, I'd start Taylor and Hines. That's about it.
15 touches for Hines in a game where they're in a losing game script for most of it. 9 rushes, 6 receptions on 6 targets.
They'll probably be in a similar game script again. So
I do want to mention, I wouldn't drop Michael Pittman just yet. He did lead the team in routes run. He was out there for every drop back that Carson Wentz had. Let's see what happens. I just wouldn't drop him yet. Don't give up on him yet.
you can drop what's his face? Drew's guy.
Paris Campbell.
Paris Campbell. You can drop Paris Campbell if you want though.
Yeah.
Broncos Jags. Let's go to. Why don't we start with the Jags running backs? Can you play James Robinson?
I would not feel comfortable starting him at all.
Agreed. Pass catchers. DJ Chark was one of the top. I think he was top 12, top 10 in targets last week.
Yeah, he had 12 targets. Only 3 receptions, but he seemed to be the number 1 target for Trevor Lawrence there. So I don't know. I'm still worried about all 3 guys just because, if you look at the targets, it was even across the board pretty much.
Chanel got a lot of the short work.
Yeah.
So
Chanel's
full PPR.
going to be the safer play for sure.
I think so.
Just less upside too because he's not going to get any deep targets. He's not going to get those downfield bombs that Chark and Marvin Jones will get.
I'm sitting all of them just because of the matchup. The Broncos defense is great. Why don't we talk about the Broncos, the pass catchers, Tim Patrick, who a lot of people probably scooped up off the waiver wire this week. Can you immediately put him into your lineup? I
think if you're desperate, you can, but I'm definitely willing to wait more, see what we get out of Tim Patrick.
I think you can start him. We've seen it. This isn't a guy that you're looking for a breakout from. You've seen Tim Patrick be a good receiver.
Yeah,
you saw it last year. This isn't. I don't need to see if Tim Patrick is going to be good. We know Tim Patrick is good.
He's just still a touchdown dependent guy.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
He had 4 targets, four catches, 4 targets. Was one of the top route runners, not named Cortland Sutton. Other than Cortland Sutton, he's the second most in routes run. They played him mostly in the slot.
I'm playing Tim Patrick.
It is a great matchup. It's like the Jags have one of the worst defenses in the league.
Mm-hmm. So, mostly out wide, not in the slot. My bad.
Okay, yeah. So Sutton, Patrick. I'd be willing to start him maybe. I wouldn't be upset about starting Patrick.
Yeah,
I think you can play Patrick, and if you're kind of in a situation where you're not looking great in the flex, you got a few, or you have 3 flex positions in the league you're in, 2 or 3. I would play Cortland Sutton. His usage was really interesting. The targets weren't really there, but his opportunity could come.
First regular season game back from an ACL injury.
Yeah,
it'll be a bit of a slow start.
Yeah, so I have no issue with that.
What about the running back position?
Yeah.
Javonte or Melvin Gordon?
I mean, I'm starting Javonte.
Yeah, I think the sharp play is to start Javonte, even though Melvin Gordon had a much better week because of that long touchdown.
Yeah,
I think it's going to flip this week. Javonte's going to have the big week.
He had more touches, so
yeah.
I mean, okay, let's get to 49ers and Eagles. Play Deebo Samuel.
Yeah,
I made the mistake of not playing him last week in one of my leagues. Just play him until we see Brandon Ayuk get some targets and some work. Play Deebo Samuel. Keep Brandon Ayuk on your bench.
Bench Brandon Ayuk. As sad as it is to say,
you're playing Elijah Mitchell if you picked him up this week. I would say Trey Sermon could be a desperate play for a touchdown if he's going to get work.
I hate the thought of having to start Trey Sermon this week.
Yeah, he's another guy it's too risky to start him.
He's never played in a regular season game, right?
Yeah. Kittle side, we're good there.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Eagles.
Devonta Smith is a start.
Yes.
I would.
And Dallas Goedert.
I think it's a start as well.
Ertz wasn't even out there that much, was he?
He got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Is he? Do you know if he's going to play?
I have not looked. I can check for us, but
just think they gave up all those yards to Hawkinson last week.
They lost Jason Verrett, who tore his ACL. That was a huge loss for their secondary. They're probably going to be looking at free agency.
Yeah.
For somebody to scoop up. I would be willing to target pass catchers that play against San Francisco right now. The running backs may be a different story. even though it was a successful week for Lions running backs. But they do have a good defensive front. So Sanders, you can play
You kind of
this
have
week.
to play him probably.
Yeah. And Hurts. We haven't talked enough about some of these quarterbacks. I forgot to kind of do that.
Most of them are pretty you kind of know if you're going to start.
Yeah, 1 QB leagues, you know which guys you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play Hurts. I was more thinking about the Stafford and Burrow matchups. I think I could play Burrow. Burrow is a good play this week against the Bears. That's one we forgot from earlier. And then
Stafford's definitely a must play.
Stafford's a play too. Okay.
Hurts is a must play.
Anything about we're playing Sanders, Kenny Gainwell? I wouldn't.
What about Rieger? Any interest in Rieger?
I'm going to wait again to see it.
Wait and see.
That's a guy, yeah.
I don't know if I want Jalen Hurts third option and passing option. Patriots, Jets. I am kind of excited about what Mac Jones can do for you. If you're in a 2 QB league and he's your third QB, could be some consideration to put him into your lineup, especially considering the fact that both Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson had fumbles. And I don't know how Bill Belichick's going to deploy the running backs. I think James White is someone you could certainly start in your flex.
Yeah,
or if you're shallow at running back, you can play him. I'm playing him in a couple of my leagues this week.
Damian Harris, kind of have to start him most likely, unless you got a really stacked team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to This is such a good matchup.
I'm in on Jacoby Myers to start him this week too.
I was going to say Aguilar and Myers because Aguilar.
I don't know about
Aguilar.
I think Aguilar is still somebody I'm sitting on the bench. It's just too risky.
Yeah, Myers is someone I think you can play though.
Jonnu, if you have him, you're playing him.
Yeah, Jonnu's
a great start this week.
Like a very low tight end 1 in my opinion.
Yeah, him and they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, so him and Henry will be on the field together a lot. So hopefully, Jonnu's
didn't they hand it off once or twice to him?
Yeah, early in the game too.
The way they were using him was nice to see, and they had 2 tight ends before. One of them killed someone, and one of them was Super Bowl champ. But they know how to use 2 tight ends. Which one's going to
be which?
2 tight ends.
Yeah, put in the comments which one was which. But they know how to use 2 tight ends. They can use them well. Hunter Henry, I'll wait to see if he has any. I think Johnny Smith's the guy there.
He's the number 1.
Yeah, you want to play.
Henry's probably on the waiver wire in a good portion of 12 10 team leagues. Jets, only person I'm playing is Corey Davis, who is Zach Wilson's guy as far as I'm concerned, and is a very exciting rest of season play.
Would love to see Elijah Moore do a little. He had some promising stats about him.
He had some deep targets.
Just
couldn't connect.
Yeah. No, he had
just stash him on your bench. Definitely do not drop him.
I agree.
Saints and Panthers. I'm going to start with the Panthers because we know we're playing Christian McCaffrey. DJ Moore, I'm playing. Where you draft him, you're playing him. This is a tough matchup. Did I hear that Lattimore is battling an injury? Or am I wrong? He just got that
I haven't heard of that. Oh, he actually
Someone
is.
has
Yeah,
an
I think it's like a finger injury or something.
Yeah, finger surgery.
Yeah, it looks like he might be out this week.
Oh, that would be big for DJ Moore.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be out.
Do we start Robbie Anderson? That's interesting.
I'm starting Robbie Anderson. I don't think Robbie Anderson was so good last year because Christian McCaffrey didn't play. Right, all the volume. As soon as McCaffrey's back,
volume
goes
is gone.
Yeah, exactly. And it's tough for us to be rostering him. It was not. If he doesn't, he made 1 catch, 54-yard touchdown or something like that, right?
The Darnold Anderson connection in New York.
And it's the only. If you just look at the stats, it's oh nice, he did that. But if you watch the game, it wasn't promising.
There. Yeah. Terrace Marshall is stashed too.
I would look to kind of maybe even chop Robbie Anderson. I'm sure he'll have a good game this week. It'll be fine, but the way they use him isn't beneficial fantasy-wise for Robbie Anderson, I don't think.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Saints. I've just got their numbers
pass
here
catchers
pulled
there.
up. They're pass catchers. So Marquez Callaway ran the most routes.
He didn't
had
do anything.
2 targets, didn't really do much. Again,
was he shadow coverage by Jerry Alexander? Do we know?
I have not looked into that.
I'd assume he had a lot of coverage against Alexander.
I can look at that in a moment. But I wanted to say that it was Callaway who didn't get targets, and then to me the interesting play is if you're desperate at tight end. I still don't think you can yet, but Troutman was right behind him in routes run.
He had a 30% target
drops. A couple drops that would have been big for him too.
Yeah.
Target share, like you mentioned, yeah. So Troutman is someone I would be stashing for sure and could play if I'm desperate. And Deontay Harris is a deep league guy to keep an eye on.
I don't know. I think that was just a one-time thing sort of thing. He's not going to be a guy who does that again week after week or even remotely close to many times as we think.
Right, but I think he's going to be out there. Like, he's going to be out there.
Yeah.
Running routes.
Callaway's still the guy I would start, if any, but I'm probably benching all receivers.
Yeah, I'm not.
I would not play Callaway.
You wouldn't?
No. I would.
There's another guy
a
who's
lot of
not-
other options I'd rather play.
Yeah, who hasn't
But like
proven
on the
himself yet.
Saints, would you start anybody over Callaway?
No.
But
No.
like,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't start.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't start any of the wide receivers. If you had to pick one, it would be Callaway.
Got you. Okay. Panthers side we talked about. The quarterbacks, I know Jameis Winston's an interesting. I've had a couple questions about that, about Winston being able to pick him up and play him this week over, let's say Trevor Lawrence going against the Broncos or Winston against the Panthers.
Winston for me.
Really? Actually, yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah, I mean, in Superflex leagues, I'd put Winston in there, but almost no way I'm starting him in a one quarterback league.
Agreed.
I think there are people that are considering that.
Really?
In one QB leagues.
I think that's crazy.
That's too much.
Well, let's say like
would you start Kirk Cousins over him? Because I would.
Kirk Cousins has the Cardinals. Yeah, I'd start Kirk Cousins over him. Yeah.
Cousins is most likely a free agent in one QB leagues.
Yeah. So is Winston.
Yeah.
Both of them are. Yeah, that's true. I would start Cousins as well. Okay, let's go to Raiders and Steelers. The Raiders, I think we talked about this already about Josh Jacobs. I'm hesitant to play him this week considering the injury. So I would probably keep him on my bench, and I would not get too enthused about the Bryan Edwards situation from Monday. I don't think we saw Darren Waller just getting hyper targeted.
Would he get like 19?
19 targets. I wouldn't play. If I'm going to play anyone from the Raiders, it's probably going to be Hunter Renfro because he has runs routes, has consistent targets. We know what to expect from Hunter Renfro. I'm not starting him. I'm just saying if anyone, I'd probably prefer it to be him. And Henry Ruggs, just drop him.
You don't need him on your roster.
You don't need him on your roster. Don't let him clog up a roster.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs only had a good week because of the 2 touchdowns. So he's the kind of guy that's going to be touchdown or bust every week.
Yeah, he's banged up. Avery, I'm excited about the Steelers pass catchers this week.
I hope so too, because I'm not excited about Najee Harris. But Chase Claypool, I'm starting everywhere.
Deontay Johnson,
I'm starting.
Juju,
I'm not starting. Two of these
great
guys
matchup, but I just
two of these guys are going to have good games. I'd be surprised if 3 of them have good games. I'm going to take Deontay and Chase Claypool. I think they're more talented than Juju at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, man.
Ben Roethlisberger or Jameis Winston this week?
I was thinking about Ben too.
That's tough. I probably go Ben, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he'll have more passing volume than Winston.
Yeah,
because the Raiders can find a way to stick in this game.
And you're not sitting Najee Harris. Don't even.
Is
think
Ebron
about it.
worth starting in if you're like desperate at tight end?
No, I think there's better options, and there's some we'll get to in a little bit. I think that are better than going to Ebron. But I do have Claypool as my 16th ranked wide receiver. Go check out the Owners blog, OwnersBox blog on our site. I did the wide receiver rankings. Let's go to Texans, Browns. We're smash starting Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt this week.
Yeah.
I can start Landry. I can do it.
I don't mind him as a flex play at all.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield is a good start as well. I'm going through it. And I'd probably start Baker ahead of Winston and
Baker over both for sure.
I loved his week last week. Texans side of the ball.
Cooks as a start.
Brandon Cooks. Otherwise,
nobody. Do not start Mark Ingram.
Anybody out there?
Mark Ingram is the biggest fade of the week.
Vikings Cardinals. Look, I think we might need to start changing our minds about the Cardinals being a bad defense. They graded it. Their secondary graded out extremely well last week against the Titans. Well, clearly so because the Titans didn't score a lot of points. But Chandler Jones was
5
sacks. So I want to temper expectations for Jefferson and Thielen this week. I'm still playing both of them, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm still playing Dalvin Cook. If you picked up KJ Osborne, I just wouldn't be like,
definitely do not
look at
start
that volume, I gotta play him.
Yeah.
Cardinals side of the ball, I'm worried about if games aren't going well that you don't want either of James Conner or Chase Edmonds.
Well, Chase Edmonds is not bad because if they're losing, he's going to catch passes.
Yeah.
So, but like James Conner just isn't somebody I want to start anyway because even if we've already seen if they're leading, he's only going to be a valuable start if he gets a touchdown.
Yeah,
and the question is, how many of those is he actually going to get?
Yeah, and he didn't get any passing work, so he's only valuable if they're winning, and I think he had 16 rushing attempts.
Yeah. So Edmonds is like a decent flex play every week, in my opinion. He's like a slightly better version of like a James White or a Nyheim Hines to me.
I'm going to say I think Rondell Moore gets in the end zone this week.
He could, but
no Christian Kirk. Don't do it.
Don't start Christian Kirk.
I like what you're saying about Rondell
but don't start
Moore.
Rondell Moore either.
I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying to start him because he might be on the waivers in some of your leagues after how bad he was last week. But AJ Green was out there a lot. I think he's going to find the end zone this week. I'm playing him on OwnersBox.
Seems washed.
He kind of looked good in that Cardinals uniform, though. He's just
their
a
helmets.
huge body. Holy fuck. I mean, it feels like we haven't seen AJ Green be good in years.
Yeah,
we haven't, but
so
I don't think he's gonna figure it out.
I don't know. I'm not starting any of those guys. I don't like any of them.
it is a good matchup, though.
Yeah.
It is a good matchup.
Still.
I do think on OwnersBox, we'll have that video out this week. He's going to be in my lineup. I think AJ Green. He's nice and cheap, and I think he can find the end zone. He had a red zone target too. 6 targets overall. Falcons Bucks. Don't play Mike Davis. Don't do it. We're learning our lesson.
Yep.
Okay, we learned our lesson.
Do
last
not
week.
start a running back against the Buccaneers defense.
Yeah, don't do it. Pass catchers wise, we're going back. We're starting Pitts. We're playing Ridley. Go back to these guys. These guys are going to be pillars for your teams this season. Play them. I wouldn't look any farther than that. Matt Ryan would not be a good play
Russell
this week.
Gage.
I'd probably start, who are we talking, like Mac Jones. I would start Mac Jones over Matt Ryan in my super flex leagues this week.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Don't hate that.
Yeah.
Bucs side of the ball, we're going to play all wide receivers. I'm
You have to.
struggling because I have a lot of A.J. Brown shares, but I also have some like Corey Davis shares. Who would you rather start?
You mean Antonio Brown, not AJ Brown?
Stop.
We've done that
Doing that.
We've done so many times.
Antonio Brown or Corey Davis this week?
Antonio Brown.
I hate having to pick between both because they're like both great options.
Yeah. But it's happening because we
Yeah.
gave a lot of people this advice to draft these two guys.
I mean, one was a wide receiver one for years, right? Like, I'm just going to take Antonio Brown. They said he looked like he's looked before. Like, he's a very good option.
I think I'd go Antonio Brown over Corey Davis.
Yeah. And look who's throwing them the ball.
I would hate to bench either of them, though.
I know. But, okay, I'm good with Antonio Brown over Corey Davis. I would do it too. But I just worried about how this plays out. Mike Evans is too good of a player to not be more involved, and I think he will be. So I just want to mention this again. Play Mike
Can you
Evans
see the
this
Jets
week.
scoring 7 points this week, though? Like,
Yeah, no,
And
I get what you're
can you
saying.
That's the reason you start
If
Antonio
my
Brown.
guy-
and can you see the Bucs putting up 35 points easily? I think
Yeah.
it's more likely that the Bucs put up a lot of points than the Jets. Corey Davis is the 1, though, and Antonio Brown is the 3 possibly. But I think that's the issue. That's the only thing we're worried about.
Yeah.
No Mekhi Becton in this game either for the Jets. I forgot to
Did you
mention
see
that, so it makes
the
it-
video of him getting? I showed you this yesterday. He was like, "I was doing so good, bro." When he was
I
getting,
thought that was
I'm
the
pretty
Chicago
sure he
guy.
thought he tore his MCL.
yeah, when he was getting
Or
carted
did I
off.
say MCL, ACL? He thought he tore his ACL when he was getting carted off, I think, and it was just like an MCL sprain.
Oh, that's good.
He thought his his season and maybe career was over when he was getting carted off. Poor guy.
Gronk's to start too, though.
Oh,
Definitely
true.
start Gronk. The running backs, what are we doing with that?
No, stay
None of them?
away.
Nothing?
You saw that. We all saw that Ronald Jones is the starter.
Yeah, he's
after
back
that.
to the starter.
He's known. Bruce Arians is known to just be a liar.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Like straight up liar. So
I feel like this is going to be the same thing every week where it's like, do we start Fournette? Do we start Ronald Jones? And the answer just seems to be neither every week.
Yeah. You can't drop them, but you can't play them either.
Yeah,
no.
It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, Cowboys, Chargers. This is definitely Fox's game of the week, right, fellas?
Maybe in your eyes.
What do you mean? This is a great game. It's a great game. Lots of points. I'm telling people. I'm saying you start Eckler, you start Keenan, and you need to start Mike Williams. You need to put him into your lineups this week.
what about Jared Cook if you have to?
Yeah, Jared Cook. That's what I was going to mention when we talked about Ebron. Like Cook, I think is a better play this week than
For
Ebron.
sure, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough choice.
Giving us a hard
yeah.
time for that one.
But I wouldn't feel comfortable starting Cook though. Like
No,
there's,
for sure
there's so
not.
many
Yeah.
guys I would much rather
But
start Johnny Smith.
if you're streaming tight ends,
Yeah.
Johnny Smith.
not bad then.
Yeah, Johnny Smith probably got drafted, and if you have to stream, I'm probably streaming Jared Cook.
Yeah.
I'm going to save my Jalen Guyton talk for the Owner's Box show, but very deep league, high upside Jalen Guyton.
Yeah.
You probably don't need to play him, but anyways.
I'm sure nobody's concerned, like nobody's actually considering this, but do not bench Ezekiel Elliott. He's going to be back to
I was going to get to
Ezekiel Elliott for him.
Or Cowboys. How about playing Dalton Schultz this week?
See, he's like same tier as Jared Cook for me in terms of like if you're streaming tight ends, I guess, but not somebody I'm comfortable starting at all.
But over Ebron for sure.
Yeah, over Ebron.
And then you're playing both Lamb and Cooper. Cedric Wilson's an interesting DFS play this week. Otherwise, we're kind of good on that
Gallup
game.
out?
Yeah, he's out like 3 to 5 weeks.
Herbert and
injury,
Dak should have a couple great games here too.
Yeah.
Titans, Seahawks.
Play
DK Metcalf is is top 3 in my wide receiver rankings this week. I think this is a great matchup for him.
Yeah,
Tyler Lockett we're playing. Chris Carson we're playing. And the train stops there. You could play Gerald Everett. He did not have the work that we kind of.
He just got in the end zone.
He just scored.
Yeah.
Disley was running routes out there too.
I think this is a wait and see type thing. If we see Disley continue to be the number 1 guy, then
we don't want either one of them. Then,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, but like I would take him over Everett then.
But I still would not roster either one if that was happening.
I would consider rostering him. Like he's like the same tier as Cook and Schultz for me if that continues to happen.
Yeah, but they're more streamers to me. And am I going to stream? Would I be willing to stream Will Disley if I know Gerald Everett is like splitting time with him? I know it's kind of the same for Schultz where he's got Jarwin there,
Yeah.
but this is a particular situation without Gallup. Then there's a little bit more opportunity. That's kind of how I saw it for Schultz. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Titans side of the ball.
Hated seeing their offense in week 1.
Tannehill's got me. I'm worried about this offense, God.
We need to see the bounce back this week.
Yeah.
Seattle's defense looked good last week, but I'm starting their guys.
Yeah. All of the big 4, Tannehill, Henry, Julio, AJ Brown, start all 4, but like a little bit worried.
Yeah, no Ferks or plays or anything like that this week. Chiefs, Ravens.
Big game.
Start them all.
Here's a great game. This one's the Sunday nighter. This should be a lot of fun. We're starting Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, obviously. I'm just
Clyde.
Clyde, yes. Don't think about McCole Hardman. Just
he's like
put him out of
only
your
in
brain.
a deep league where you like you need to fill a flex spot. Maybe you had like Jerry Jeudy or something. Then maybe I would consider a flyer on him just because he has the chance to break one off for 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I'm saying this, and exactly. We're saying this, and there's a chance he scores a 50-yard touchdown.
First play
I'm
of the
like,
game.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
That can happen any week.
He's going to hurt you more than he's going to help you, I think.
Ravens side of the ball.
Running backs.
Yeah, so the Browns ran real well against the Chiefs. So I'm
Tyson Williams.
I'm playing Tyson Williams.
Start.
And I could be convinced to play Latavius Murray.
No, I can't. I can't be.
Well, he missed some pass blocking things, right?
Assignments?
Yeah.
Latavius Murray did?
No, Tyson.
Tyson did?
Yeah. So I think that's. But he's a rookie.
But he just looks so much better than Latavius Murray.
Yeah, you can't teach speed and like.
Yeah.
The ability to cut.
Yeah, like Latavius Murray or Devin Singletary. Who you starting?
Devin Singletary, just because I know I have the work from him. I just want to check these grades from Latavius Murray. He had 10 rushing attempts for 28 yards.
Jeez.
And his touchdown. So I don't know. He only had one more attempt than Tyson Williams, and Williams was involved in the passing game, which was nice to see. So, yeah, Latavius Murray probably not a good play, but I could, if you're in a really bad spot, then
receivers. What are we doing here? Marquis Brown. I think he can.
Marquis Brown, I probably would start.
Yeah,
like
surprised.
I saw like he's been really good in his past like 8 or so regular season games, so I don't mind starting that at all.
Yeah, he had six catches on 6 targets, no drops for a guy.
Let's
for
go.
a guy, Marquis Brown. Sammy Watkins was out there more than he was even.
But it's only week 2 now. Yeah. Sammy Watkins is done.
Right, but he was the target leader. These would be desperate plays for me. Like I
don't think Marquis Brown is a desperate play. Like I like him as a flex play.
I'd agree. I don't think it's desperate play either.
He's actually been good, even though people kind of wrote him off as a bust. He has been bad.
The Chiefs are going to give up yards. It just depends who they're going to give them up to.
Yeah,
they're going to give up yards on the ground. They're going to give up yards through the air.
Marquis Brown or Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry.
It's close. They're like things like right next to each other, I think.
Okay, let's do one more of that. Let me think of a guy.
Like I'd go Cooks over him.
Cooks.
Yeah. What about like
over.
Robbie Anderson? Robbie Anderson or
Yeah, I'd
Marquis
start
Brown?
Marquis Brown.
Marquis Brown.
Better matchup. What about? Let me pick somebody here. Who am I thinking? Will Fuller.
Marquis Brown.
Marquis Brown.
Any of the Dolphins wide receivers or Marquis Brown?
Okay. Okay.
Is
Last
that a
game.
question?
Yeah, that was a question.
Yeah. I'd play Marquis Brown over the Dolphins wide receivers. Yeah.
What about the Jags wide receivers?
Yeah, it's too tough a matchup for the Jags.
Okay.
You're actually making me feel like
Yeah,
Marquis Brown.
Marquis Brown has a good start.
A terrible start. Yeah, it's a good matchup, obviously. Okay, last game, Monday nighter. Again, Thursdays and Mondays are back to being kind of stinky. Packers and Lions.
Start all the Packers. I'm so ready for this offense to be just dominant.
They're going to score 100
Yeah.
points.
Yeah,
Start Tanyan. If you're in a deep league, I would not mind Marquez Valdes-Scantling out there for you.
We need to look at Alan Lazar, too, as a guy on your wire, breaking out last year before he got hurt.
Yeah.
A couple of games he played, he was really good. And a bunch of targets last week, I think. He looked good as well. So I could see him having a big week, and everyone runs to the wire to grab him next week.
Yeah.
And if this will be on the Owner's Box show, but A.J. Dillon as well is not someone I'd start, but if they're killing this team, which I think they're going to kill this team, Dillon could be getting a lot of touches. Lions side, Jared, why don't you cover the Lions first?
Running backs start them both.
Let's say Jared Goff, QB3. Let's just throw that out the window. And I don't think we're going to see that this week.
Yeah, Jared Goff, probably don't start him, but I like both running backs here. They were both so involved in the passing game, and it's going to continue this week. So especially in a full PPR league, start both of them. They're the running back 2 and 4 on the year, and obviously that's not going to continue to that extent. But if they're losing, like we think they will, they're still going to use the running backs a heavy amount, and like I could easily see them being both top 15 running backs again.
Starting Hawk, he's obviously the number one.
Oh yeah, definitely start Hawk.
Option there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
No wide receivers though. Do not start any of the Lions wide receivers.
Yeah. No.
Tmack, that was brutal to see you drop.
Yeah, Tmack's already dropped him on Ross Brown. His
He did run the
dream
most
is over.
routes on the team. He did run the most routes from wide receivers.
Talk yourself back into him on St. Brown.
We need to see you
Let's-
pick him up again.
Let's do it. I'll talk myself back into it. He did run the most routes for wide receivers, which was great. He was out there pretty much the whole game.
He's got a fucking cool name.
He's got a cool name. He went to
That's
USC.
about it. He's got a Keenan Allen comp.
Yeah, he's got
Don't
a Keenan
forget
Allen
that.
comp.
What expert did that comp?
That was me. I looked at his junior season in college, and I looked at Keenan Allen's junior season in college, and they were pretty much identical. So I thought he might be Keenan Allen.
Pac-12 boys.
He managed to be drafted while playing under Clay Helton.
Yes, that
Good
is
for him.
almost a negative form.
Nobody managed to get drafted under,
True,
playing
yeah.
under that guy. It's positive.
He might have ruined his career though. This is what I was getting at.
Okay, couple start-sit decisions people had for us
In the Discord.
If
If you want to give us your start-sit questions, enter the Discord. Put them in there. We'll answer them on the show.
Yeah.
The link never works in the description. None of the links ever work somehow for us. So if you need the link, put it in the comments. Jared will be the one to give you the link.
Yep, big link guy.
Terry McLaurin or T. Higgins?
So usually I'd say McLaurin, but I think I'm going T. Higgins this week.
Wow.
McLaurin has James Bradbury, short week.
Heineke.
Taylor Heineke, like, I don't know.
I'm still McLaurin. McLaurin got it done last year, no matter the quarterback. I'm going to play McLaurin over T. Higgins.
Bradbury's just a tough matchup.
I'll play McLaurin.
Higgins.
Will Fuller, Devontae Parker.
Will Fuller.
Yeah, Fuller
Fuller.
easily there. Like, even though we didn't see what he could do in week 1, like he just has a lot more upside than Parker. And Parker I think he had like a pretty decent game actually, like 80 yards on 4 receptions. But with Fuller back in there, I think it's going to go down. He's not going to be a great start.
He led the team in routes run, so he was, even though Waddle got in the end zone, Parker kind of had a little bit more work. This is a nice decision. This is another nice decision for someone to have: Antonio Brown or Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I would like to start both. But if I had to pick one, I'd go Godwin. Like he had the 30% target share on the offense compared to AB, who was like 15 or something. So
Yeah, we forget that he fumbled and could have had another tud.
yeah,
Could have won me money. But Chris Godwin, I don't think that's very close.
yeah, I think he'd be the Bucs wide receiver I would start over any of them if I can only pick one.
Yeah, for this week. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I would say too. All right, well, that's it. That's all the games this week. Damn, I'm excited for some more football.
Love it. I want football every day.
Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, comment down below if you got any start-sit decisions you want to chat about, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Plenty of content all season long for you. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.